Welcome to Late Night New York! Please give a warm welcome for your host, Jason Green!
Thank you. That was particularly nice from you, sir. That was really nice. Welcome to Late Night New York, guys. Thanks for coming out. This is our first show, and this show is about New York, this great city of ours, what makes it so exciting. I love New York. I've been living here my whole life, and by love, I mean it's the only place I'm employable or ever able to have sex again. So I'm sure a few of you can relate to that maybe a little bit. We've got a lot of great guests tonight, and we also have a really amazing co-host. He's a comedian. He's hilarious. His name's Justin Williams. Everybody give it up for Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hey, that announcer was overzealous.
That announcer was great.
Yeah, I think it's the Chicago Bulls guy back there.
He had a beautiful timbre to his voice, I think.
He's probably a sex symbol.
He might be. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. You look great as well. We're doing like a reverse Civil War thing right now.
Makes me feel a little better about things, to be honest.
Yeah.
That I'm at least part of the war on northern aggression. It'd be a bit weird if it was the other way around.
Yeah, I'm like the bad guys in Lincoln at the negotiating table.
We will not be joined as vanquished enemies with our way of life threatened.
You just look like you're selling ice cream to the Nation of Islam, honestly.
I am. I'm Muhammad Abdul Al-Softy.
Well, we have a big team here. We've got a great producer who's been working really hard too. Patrick, our producer, right over here. Yeah. He's great. Most enthusiastic guy. You guys follow his lead, will you? Jesus. Patrick, it's really interesting. He's not just a producer. He's a multifaceted guy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on. He's in a Billy Joel cover band that just does "We Didn't Start the Fire" only. The only song.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. They do different versions, reggae versions. It's pretty cool though. Check it out. You should check it out.
He does a version that Pitbull does that's really good.
Yeah.
We didn't start the fire.
He's also.
I know you want it.
Yeah. He's also one of the biggest. Correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick. One of the biggest collectors of Shrek memorabilia on the East Coast. Is that right?
People don't know a lot of things about Patrick. Like, for one thing, he's actually dressed not as a producer tonight, but as a cast member of Mad Men. So that's really...
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, guys. We got great guests tonight. First up, we've got Rachel and Michael, and we've got we have a little segment about them. Check it out right over there.
There are many New Yorkers that are still recovering from the worst storm that many of us can remember, Hurricane Sandy. The storm impacted many lives all over New York's 5 boroughs, from Staten Island to Rockaway Beach. Our next two guests are Rachel Falcone and Michael Premo from Sandy Storyline. Sandy Storyline is bringing together the narratives of all these people to form a collaborative history of what happened. The project features audio, video, photography, and text stories contributed by residents and citizen journalists that are shared through an immersive web documentary and interactive exhibitions. They have spent the past months working with Occupy Sandy, an ongoing movement bringing a bottom-up vision for a more equitable New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Rachel Falcone and Michael Premo. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Have a seat. Thanks. That's a nice little piece. Okay, I didn't make it. It's that guy. Shoot an extra day? No, thank you. All right, guys, thank you for coming. So I was doing research on the work that you guys have done, and I'm interested in it because it seems like it's doing sort of two things at once. I see it as being sort of an activist project and also sort of a historical document of sorts. How do you guys view it? Do you see it as one or the other or both, or?
I think we're always the both. We always have multiple hats. Mike and I both come from documenting the housing movement for many years and as activists ourselves. So I think we always want to see the project have an impact long term in terms of the storm.
Yeah, and the goal is really to like think about how stories and culture and art can play a strategic role in movement building and building power and building the capacity of communities to be able to advocate for themselves. And so the idea is to create the tools that people can then use to be able to distribute and share their own stories, however they see fit in whatever way that serves whatever it is that they're trying to drive at.
Yeah, well, Justin and I were talking about it beforehand, and we were saying that it really reminded us of Howard Zinn's People's History, in a sense, that it was letting common people tell their own stories. Was that something that was an influence, or has that occurred to you as you've gone along, or?
Yeah, I mean, from the moment that both of us went out after the storm, I was sitting at one of the charging stations, one of the first hubs that started in Red Hook, and I just saw how the story was way bigger than us, and it needed many voices to be telling that story. And the only way we were going to do that was to create a platform for people to actually tell in their own words, through their own pictures. I mean, what's amazing is everyone, many people documented the storm on their cell phones. And you see, their perspective through the images that they chose. And, when they look back, they say, oh, this moment, that moment, and they sort of chose a powerful moment that meant a lot to them to document.
Yeah.
And so that's what's beautiful about the project, that we give the platform for people to share that content.
You guys actually brought a clip, right, from one of the, can you set that up for us? Let us know.
Sure. So this is Derek Prince. He was photographed and recorded by a photographer, Matt Richter, in Coney Island, and he's recorded on Thanksgiving Day, just shortly after the storm.
Okay, great. Check it out.
In everyday life, you kind of take certain things for granted. You take certain people for granted. And if I learned one thing from the storm, it was that the memories and the family time and whatever moment you hold precious to you that you can't ever get back if something like this happens are the things that deserve your focus, deserve your time, deserve your attention, deserve your adoration, deserve every ounce that you could give it to cherish it while the moment is taking place. Because at the end of the day, everything else can be replaced, but those can't, There'll never be another Thanksgiving 2012, I can get another TV, I can get another laptop, I can get another iPod, I can get some more clothes. But the memories and that you create, you can't get those back. You can make new ones, which is great, and I thank God for that opportunity. So yesterday was amazing and much needed.
So you guys must get so many submissions from people. How do you guys go about sort of creating the narrative for this project?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question. I mean, it's the one thing that we've tried to resist the word crowdsourcing and really call it a participatory documentary, because people can be involved and can contribute to this project if it is as simple as sending in a text message or it's helping design any aspect of the project, right? And so we've had this sort of like negotiation with ourselves and with our contributors around what is the aesthetic quality, what is the aesthetic rigor that goes into making something that is both engaging, invites a lot of participation from lots of different people, but is also beautiful and compelling. Right? So we encourage people to share stories, and that's kind of like our baseline. If you share something and maybe your video skills or your documentation skills aren't as strong, but you share a compelling story, we have a place for that story. And we've had people who have not as strong technical skills, and we work with them and pair them up with sort of professional and more experienced media makers to help improve their storytelling.
So also, you guys have this. This is all kind of logged at your website. But you guys submitted a version of this for the Tribeca Film Fest, and won. What was the award was for the
For transmedia.
Transmedia.
Yeah, it's this brand new category that the Tribeca Film Festival, for a number of years, they've been sort of supporting this new kind of world of kind of cross-platform storytelling, which in one way is kind of like an excuse to do branding for companies. But there's a lot of artists like ourselves and also community organizers which are trying to think dynamically about democratically participatory media and storytelling. Right. And so for the first year ever, they have a juried category where they selected 5 different projects, which are called Transmedia. It's a really crazy, ridiculous name. I didn't know I was doing Transmedia until a number of years ago. Someone invited us to a panel and was like, oh, you do Transmedia, come to this panel. And I was like,
how do you tell your parents that you do Transmedia?
Yeah, you know, I thought we had been through all those conversations already, but and so they're recognizing this type of media, and we won our category, and we were up against people.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. And some of the other projects are funded by Google and sort of major sort of tech people who, you know, have a lot more funding and power in the media landscape than us, but so it was a real win for participatory storytelling.
Yeah, suck it, Google.
Yeah.
Guys, let's give it up for Rachel and Michael from Sandy Storyline. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Well, thanks for being here. Go to sandystoryline.com and get involved. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Up next, we've got a collective of artists that are really doing amazing stuff, and they are doing a residency here in New York right now. We have a little video piece about them. They'll be up next, so check that out.
On tonight's show, we're honored to have one of Cambodia's only art collectives. Steve Selapak, also known as Art Rebels, are taking part in Season of Cambodia, a Living City Arts Festival taking place here in New York City right now. The story of Cambodia's recent history has been dominated by the impact of the Khmer Rouge, a political regime that was responsible for the killing and exiling of most of the country's artists and intellectuals during the 1970s. Born into this legacy, a new generation of young contemporary artists are refocusing our attention on globalism and its effects within Cambodia today. KHVAY SAMNANG uses his body to offer poignant reflections on unresolved issues. SOKCHANLINA stages scenarios involving himself as a protagonist, calling attention to a variety of social, cultural, economic, and environmental changes in Cambodia. VUTH LYNO uses photography and sound to engage specific Cambodian communities and the cultures unique to them. Together, they run the Sa Sa Art Projects, an experimental art space in Phnom Penh's famous White Building.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for LYNO, Lena, and SAMNANG. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on the show. So I wanted to start off just by asking kind of a general question. Your work is so associated with your home country, and now you guys are here in New York working on stuff. How do you find the transition of translating your work from Cambodia to New York and presenting it here?
It's a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Trying to cope what is happening here. It's just so much going on, and just try to keep up with the pace of the festival, but also to be oriented with New York, to get to understand the audience. But I think slowly we try, find something that really relate to and link from previous project to be happening here in New York.
So,
yeah.
So you specifically, you're exhibiting works from students at your art project, and you're showing the work at a high school in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
exhibiting the work of Cambodian teenagers and showing Brooklyn teenagers that work.
Yes, you're right. It's an exciting project. So what happened was we brought over our students' work in a suitcase, and we just pop it up and show in this gallery at Packer Collegiate Institute in Brooklyn. And that's a starting point, but also we will be collaborating between the students in Phnom Penh and in New York. They will be doing something along parallel in both cities, and we share their work on an online platform as part of this building understanding of community between the two cities.
What's the reaction of the Brooklyn high school students to the work that your students are doing?
They like the work.
Yeah?
One of the cool work is one sound sculpture by our student Ratana, and a lot of students were passing by and also the faculty, and they really enjoyed it. What they need to do is just to stick their head inside this dome of sound sculpture.
One of your pieces that, that you kind of relocating here to New York, you did a thing called Cow Taxi,
Yeah.
where you wore water buffalo horns,
Yeah.
and you had a rickshaw. Is that the right way to describe it? And you would travel around, and you're doing that again in the Bronx. Is that right?
Sure.
With students as well?
Yeah, with the Casita Maria in the Bronx.
And how are the how is that? How have you translated that project to students in the Bronx? How are they using this project?
Yeah, that how connecting, because like I work cow taxi with my community in my country. I help my city to clean the city. I have connecting with the people outside, inside, what they play, that scaring place, you know. But in here too, you know, I want to connect in the community here, or like family, in the like American people always they grow up 17 years old or 14 years old or 15 years old. Always their parents said, oh, okay, you go, leave me, you don't come, you know. And different mind, so I want to share connection before you leave your parents, what you want to do with your parents, or what you want to do in your community. Yeah, you have many things to do. Have one you want to share? If you want, okay, we come to cow with me.
What do you want to do? You want to be a cow with me? Great. That's great.
I have a quick question. Do you have a card that I can use? Because I'm actually moving to the Bronx. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to get a taxi to Manhattan from there.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if I could take the cow taxi from the Bronx to Manhattan. Do you go to the Lower East Side on a Saturday night at like 3 a.m.?
Yeah, can I go that far?
Okay. Yeah. And I want to talk about the work that you're doing too. You did this wrapping gardens in Cambodia, and you're doing it here at BAM as well. Tell us about the work in Cambodia, and tell us about the work you're doing in Brooklyn as well.
Yeah, there is a link in terms of what the word wrap. Wrap. So in Cambodia, I do the work called Wrap Futures, which is a photo series of mental fans that exists in Phnom Penh. Also, I think I haven't seen it here actually. Only this is a fan behind me, but it's a different fan. It's a different fans in Cambodia. It's a mental bright yellow, green, blue, like as you see in one slideshow that you have zones, and that is really somehow it talk about the developing and how globalizations come to Cambodia. I'm sure here is also happened, but also on top of that in Cambodia, it's about the land issues, about the heritage, about the cultures, about the investment and evicted peoples. So that is the ongoing projects that I start from 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I hope it never ends as the developing is never end, I think.
Guys, thank you so much for being with us. I want to thank LYNO, Lena, and SAMNANG. You guys are fantastic. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our musical guest, David Broome. Guys, we want to thank David Broome and all of our guests, and thank you guys for watching and being here. This has been Late Night New York. Tune in again next time. See you later.